Good evening.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm coming to you tonight to talk about government, basically local government. And I want to ask some questions, and I want to get some people to answer the questions, because unless you have good government, you have nothing. You have nothing. And have the people that you've been voting for, have they been taking care of your health and rights needs? We're going to discuss all of that tonight. Okay? Okay. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing these workshops, because basically I'm having eye problems. So we're about at the last of these workshops, so I'm really going to listen to them well when I go over this information. One of the institutions we have is government. And the first stage of government is precinct government. So let me go. We have we have any things here? You have any markers here?
Try to get a marker out of the basket, just put it back at the end.
Oh, okay. Here we go. The first level of government you have is called precinct government. Precinct government. And precincts make up ward government. Let's not run this far. Every ward have a certain amount of precincts. Some wards have 10 precincts, some wards have 19, some have 14, depending on the size of your population. But the question I want to bring up tonight is basically your council people. As you elect your council people, how do you elect them? Do you elect them because they're your friends? Do you elect them because they're cute? How then do you elect your council people? Do you elect them because they did you a favor? Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you, a councilman's job is not to do people favors. I know much of you might like him because he gives you a favor, but that's not his job. His job is to legislate in the law that take care of your precinct, that represent your precinct, your people in your precinct, and make sure that the laws are just by them. That's what your precinct, your councilman's job is. But we think, as long as they bring us a ham sandwich every now and then, and just have our street clean, he's a good councilman. That don't make a good councilman. What makes a good councilman is that when you go to council meeting, he sit down with other councilmen and debate the good that he needs for his own community. You don't go to, but most of our councilmen, they go into councilmen, they become councilmen for their own self-aggrandizement. Most of our councilmen have gained much wealth. And the way they do that, one way they do that, they buy a property in the ward that they're councilmen on. Well, a councilman shouldn't buy a property in his own ward. That's a conflict of interest. A councilman should serve health and rights needs of the people. So let me ask you a question. Let me ask y'all a question. How many of y'all vote for councilman because you like him or not? You like him by board? How many of y'all vote for a councilman because he know everybody in the neighborhood? How do y'all vote for councilman? Let me ask you. What makes a good councilman that deserve your vote?
Well, one of the things that I would say that I vote for a council person based on his or her agenda.
Okay. Now let me ask you this.
And I'll say,
Where does he get his agenda from? Does he make it up?
Well, usually, during the campaign, when they come before you, they have a platform, or they explain to you, and they make certain promises that they plan to do in the board. But I've experienced disappointments in that area, because sometimes they make promises that they may not know they can't keep. So, sometimes that leads to disappointment. But I base it on, what they say during their campaign. They're talking about things that I think are important. That's how I base it.
All right.
Living in the ward, you want to, I'm trying to think of the word, envelop?
Develop.
Yeah, envelop or develop. You have to live in the precinct that you, like Ward 3, Ward 5, Ward 7. You have to be people's champion to even get to that point. If that makes sense.
I know what you're saying.
Like the
That's
people
so-
have trust in you before, you have to live in that ward. A lot of them don't. Like they'll have rental homes where I have my grandma's niece live in this ward, but I'm gonna go live in Brandon by, if it comes to push and shove, that's how it works.
That's right, and that becomes a conflict of interest. Why?
Right there.
Because you don't live there, you have no attachment there, you don't develop nothing there, you just downtown with a job telling people you oversee that.
Right.
But there's no love, there's no, let me tell you, all the council person, his agenda should be made around the people's needs. What do my people need? And that should be his agenda. If his agenda is around what the people need, and he just went somewhere and made up an agenda, well, that may not be the people's agenda. And he's representing, see, a councilman is not a councilman of himself. He's supposed to be the extension of the language of the people in his ward. And when he can't fulfill those needs for the people in his ward, then that's time for the people to get rid of it and get what he can.
Right.
See, you can't debate, because most of our councilmen, let me tell you how they are. I want you to look at me when I said this, because I want you to hear it. when you see this. Most of our councilmen, they come around with a little church and neighborhood story. When they run now, here's what they do. Follow me. They go up in the church and sit right next to the reverend, try to act like they're decent people. And then when they get the people's vote, then they go downtown and vote without pressure over against our interests. Let me show you what that is. I have no desire to give the guy who's going to build another football field any money. I don't have no desire to do that. See, but then our councilmen go downtown and vote with the other councilmen to give those people our money, just like they did Sherry Williams. I didn't agree for them to give Sherry Williams no money. It was my tax money. I didn't agree, but they went downtown and voted against our interests to give Sherry Williams some money. And that's what they do. The first question the councilman should be asked, what do my people need? And the second thing he should be doing is setting up a process by which you put that in the legislature to acquire what the people need. See what I'm saying? Now, if you talk about anything other than paving the streets on the west side, cleaning up the river, no. What do my people need? Let me get that on the agenda. And let me fight for that. Not to go downtown and join up with some other conniving councilmen who's stealing themselves and say, man, how do I get in that little game where I can give me some money? That's what they do. And then what makes what's so sickening about what they do, they don't do nothing for us, then they come back the next year. Hey, Mike, how you doing, Mike? I'm gonna want your vote. I gotta get down there and I want your vote. And at that particular time, we should say, where my list at? Did you do this? No, did you do this? No, did you do this? No, no, you can't be my councilman. You're not representing my interests. But what they do, man, they come out here and they tease old people, because that's where they get their vote from, older people. They tease older people who don't read, who don't know the landscape, political landscape of the community and the city. And they fool them by sitting next to their reverend. So the old people think, well, maybe he's a good guy because he sat next to the people, he sat next to the reverend. No, he's a scoundrel and a thief in your church, trying to get your vote, to go downtown to steal. And I tell all of them down there, you're a thief, and you don't look out for the health and interest of the needs of the people. Now, if you need the councilman to see this, if you like what I said, come see me about it. Now, and so the people, George Forbes, was in council for 18 years. When George Forbes come out of council, his ward looked just like it did when he went in. Just as dirty, filthy, people on the street, gangs running around. So the question is, who did George Forbes go in there for? He went in there for himself. And oh yeah, he did a couple of little favors for people in the neighborhood, but that's not what a councilman do. A councilman look at the whole health, rights, and needs of the ward. Look out for everybody. See? Councilman. Look out for Phil as well as look out for Phil. Councilman. See? But they go down there and they get rich. And you'll see them, they get fat while they're down there, first of all. Then they wear these little pretty little suits they done bought, and then they come out there and then try to out-talk you. When you try to tell them something, then they try to out-talk you. Am I lying, Mike?
Absolutely right.
Like he knows something. How can a thief know anything? No, he's still, and then when they take the precinct people downtown, here's what they do. When you read out this, I want y'all to raise your hand. As if the people don't have enough sense about what the man's reading. Don't have enough sense about what's in the answer just up there.
Well, that comes down to what the county, the city, and the federal grants can do in an emergency. Say the Great Lakes are frozen over, we can't get boats down the St. Lawrence Canal, clean the port. Well, it's a disaster response. They're going to TNT it to break it open to make business for the entrepreneurs at Cleveland. And then they get all confused downtown why federal doesn't want to work with county or city because it's a bigger game. That makes sense, Ernie.
Yeah.
It's
So
a big game.
So here we go. When a councilman get in, the majority of his time and his interest should be to his people. Part of his time, you got to look at the integrity of the city. Some of his time should be looking at his effect in the county. Other part of his time should be looking at how do I get federal funds for my people.
And that should be 80% of the pie. I mean,
His people is the biggest percent.
right, but the federal funds are there.
Yeah.
He's got to go grab them.
Hey, Phil, used to be there. Listen, yes, sir.
What I would say, and I'll say this in my application, I think that one of the issues actually is not the acquiring of funds, it's the mismanagement of funds. You understand? Because tax dollars are the wealth of the poor. If you are not using that money to take care of the needs of the people, because you're too busy taking care of the needs of the money interest, then that's what you call mismanagement of tax dollars. So I think that's one of the big issues. We got the $512 million ARPA money from the federal government.
Right.
So where did it go? Is the question. So that's what I mean. Maybe, I would say that the focus should be on how this money is distributed.
Right.
And they have the power, our elected officials are the one in charge of distributing that money, and make sure that money is distributed fairly.
Yes.
And that has not been happening. And I think that you gave a perfect example with the Sherman Williams. That was $100 million that Sherman Williams got to build of our tax dollars. Basically, that was our money given to Sherman Williams to build a headquarters. But one of the things that I would say I would think that we could find something better to spend $100 million on in the second core city in the country, which is Cleveland,
Now,
than
who
to
should-
give it to a Fortune 500 company.
Now, who should have been arguing that for you?
I think it comes down to federal government stigma, where, hey, I don't want to deal with Cleveland anymore, they squashed that back in the day, so we'll overlook it, we'll give it money to Milwaukee.
Okay, now I'm looking at local government.
Okay.
I'm not looking at federal. Who should have been arguing that argument for you?
Well, here's the thing. My understanding of local government, as far as city council, right? My councilmen don't actually work in my ward. They work at 601 Lakeside, which is City Hall, on behalf of my ward. Because when a developer comes into my community, into my ward and wants to build, or they want to build something in my ward, they don't come to our community. They go to 601 Lakeside and says, who's over Ward 2000? And so they say, Ernie Harris is over Ward 2000. So that developer goes to Ernie and says, you know what, we want to build in your ward. So that is the time, and that happens at 601 Lakeside. That is the time for Ernie to say, okay, you can build in my ward, but you got to give him a job, you got to give him a job, you got to give him a job, you got to give her. It's called community benefit, and that's what we listen to.
But we missed this step. Ernie Harris, we want to come to your ward to build. Well, I got to go back and talk to my people.
Then you gotta get union oversight.
No, I got to go back and talk to my people. They may not want to build in there.
Right, right.
They may not want to build it. If I get their approval for you to build that, then I'll go along with you. But if they don't want to build that, I'm not going to go along with you. Because I want you to, I'm going to ask you something. Who's your council? Do you know? It don't matter. Oh, that's Mike Valencia.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question, and this is just a general question. If a rich man want to talk to Mike, and you want to talk to Mike, who do you think Mike going to talk to?
The man with money.
But the man with the money, I want you to look at me on this one. But the man in the money can't vote for Mike. He cannot vote for Mike. So Mike go and talk with the man with the money, ignoring you. What does he think of you?
Nothing.
You see what I'm saying? The man with the money can't vote for him. So if you ain't important to Mike, and you're the one who put him in office, then you see what I'm saying? But he rather spend his time talking to Richard, and that's what our councilmen have done. They went and talked to our oppressors over against our interests. And that's why I say that none of them down there fit.
Right,
Govern the
the
people.
east side talks to the council people from Lakewood. They make the decision. That's the sad part.
Yeah, I know what you're
Council
saying.
people from Lakewood make decisions here.
I agree. I totally agree with you. They go down, they forget our interests and talk to the folks downtown. Mike can tell you, Mike know all that history about Lakewood and putting downtown.
Right,
But
they do.
But they ignore you. And then the shame of the thing is they come back around you at the end of the term. Hey, I don't need y'all to vote again. To do what? To do what? Violate the interests of the people. Fat cat, you need to get out the race.
Ernie, also, they leave you out of all the federal grant money that's coming in.
I agree.
They don't advertise it. They'll tell in a secret meeting, oh, hey guys, we got this grant money coming in, but guess what? We're not gonna tell the east side.
I agree.
I'll
Now
talk
listen.
about it later on.
Now listen. Biz, the mayor, come right here and ask us for his support. He promised he would put $31 million aside for community development. Today, he has put nothing. He come to us and lied to us. And we calculated, well, if the brother talking like that, we give him a little help. But he lied. And he went downtown, and the people from over there, what you talking about?
Right.
And then
I know what he did.
to do everything they wanted to do.
Right.
Nothing for us. Now, should we vote for him again?
No.
No.
No. You'd be damn fool. See, you'd be damn, because he don't represent your interests. Man, look, what's your name, my brother? Yes, sir, your name. I know, but don't you sit there, care. Okay, now, you got a girlfriend. You got a girlfriend that you like, but she don't like you. Now, do you keep on giving her money?
Nope.
Hey,
Right. Because if she don't have your interest at heart, why should you hold her interest at heart?
Yeah.
So if the council people and the mayor don't hold our interest at heart, why should we hold him at heart? See, get on out of town and send the new justice to town. Yes, sir.
You know what, Ernie, I think that sort of reflects on why what you're doing as far as teaching government is so very important. Because a lot of times, like I was saying earlier, they make promises that they don't even know they can't keep. You understand what I'm saying? Because he can't promise you any dollars without he can't give you any money without the approval of council. You understand what I'm saying? He can promise you, but council has to prove any money that he gives out. You see what I'm saying? So when they make those kind of promises, we don't know any better. So we buy it. You know what I'm saying? We buy into it. And they may not even know it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you'd be surprised how many elected officials.
Surprised at how many of them know they lie like a rug.
Right.
Just to get your vote. For their,
I agree.
And-
interest. They
And you know why I know they lie? Because you don't see them until the next time they have to do it.
thank you. You won't feel nowhere.
But what I'm saying is this.
But I know
What
what
I'm
you're saying.
saying
I know
is
what you're
this.
saying.
Just because they are elected officials do not mean that they know how government works. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how they end up making promises that they can't keep. Not letting them off the hook.
Right.
But I'm just giving the scenario that when they make those promises, we have a responsibility to know their limits. Because you know what? Trick me and I keep going for the trick.
They're gonna keep tricking.
There you go.
And
So-
that's what they do to older people.
Right.
They keep tricking them and keep tricking them and keep tricking. And the older people, they don't study, they don't take time to investigate a candidate. They just try to live their life until the end of their life. And they keep using it. And this is what I don't like about it. They use people for their own self-aggrandizement. I would hope God have a chuck on me on the way. Yeah.
Ernie, the last member of the bipartisan city council of Cleveland that's dealing with crime, he's the president of the Black Shield Police Association, started in 1946.
Who is it? Taylor?
His name, one second, he was the last member. Cleveland City-led Police Oversight Commission fills its ninth vacant seat. His name, Wednesday, Mayor Justin Bibb nomination for Luther Roddy, a detective.
Yeah.
Did we connect?
Now
Yeah.
we need to take
Okay.
your conversation.
No, that's all right. We got
And I
it.
thought you'd like to know that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think he's a great detective. It's not
But
the
see-
point, but
Yeah, he's a part of city government, but now, he's a part of it.
Right, he's gonna vote yea or nay on, you know how the council meetings work? Five goes, 7 don't. It's probably a 7-person or 9, it's always an odd number.
Right.
I'm trying to wrap my head around what you're saying. So what you're saying is that the oversight committee's job is to make sure that police are
Right, but the last member,
is a policeman himself.
he's
so-
the head of the Black Shield from 1946 in Cleveland. The oldest, they call it the oldest nonprofit police organization in the United States.
So your concern is he can't render fair judgment?
No, I never, not my concern, I just, why,
But do you think as that position he holds will allow him to make fair judgment on
I
his
believe they put him in there for that.
All right, so now, let me go to this to break this down, so y'all understand. First level of government.
He's gonna vote on it.
First level of government is precinct. That's the smallest level of government. Let me tell you why. They created precinct government to count the vote in this country. That's how they get the vote counted. But they never did tell the people what the precinct person meant to the people. They didn't do that. They said, well, we need y'all to count the vote. And for the census and for election. That's why they created the precinct government. But then Dr. King come along and said, look, we need to use our precincts to develop our community. And that's our roots up. And once we can run the government and administrate our precinct government, we can take the, that's what brings us out of power. But precinct government, because it's, let's say 17 precincts, they form a ward. A ward, the councilman, his job is to go to the city meetings and discuss our health insurance rights and needs at the city meetings so that we can fulfill our health insurance rights and needs on the city level. Okay. Now, if the ward leader needs money to do that, he can subpoena the city for that money. See? And if the city need money, they subpoena the county for the money. If the county need money, they subpoena the state.
Right.
The state government. State government need money.
You go federal.
They go federal. And the federal can't get no money from the United Nations, so they ain't got no money.
They get this from the
They-
Federal Reserve.
Federal
It's a
Reserve,
private
right.
institution.
That's right. Bring it out. So that's the way it goes. But if you got a problem here, you solve it here. You got a problem here, you solve it here. You got a problem with the city, you solve it with the county. Problem with the county, you solve it with the state. Problem with the state, you solve it with the federal government. That's how government works. And each one of these people that take this city, say Ms. Wayne, that's your precinct person. And say Mike Valencia, your county person. Your ward person. And say Justin Bibbs, that's your city leader.
Chantel Brown, there you go.
Chantel
Okay,
Brown.
say, Romaine,
She is.
what's his name, Romaine? Chris Romaine, he's your county person. And your state person is, what's that woman's name?
Nikki Antonio.
Vicky Antonio. And your federal person, your federal government, Chantel.
Chantel Brown.
And then you got senators and the senators we got, they ain't working there. And I tell you, Vance ain't working there. So, y'all should have tried to give him up. He's a liar. So people even catch. You know he was lying when he said that. See, the problem that we have, we got to learn how to develop courage to call a liar to his face. If you scared to call a liar to, if Trump coming in, I tell Trump, you're a liar, and I tell it to his face. Why? Because if he's a liar and that's true, and I know God back up the truth, why am I afraid?
Right.
Why am I afraid? So this is how government works. But all of this is based on what? Precinct.
Precinct.
All the levels of government is based on precinct.
The people.
Yeah, that's what the people are, the precinct. Look, no matter when Trump go to vote, you know where he go to vote at? In his precinct. If Trump go to vote, he got to go to vote in his precinct. Because ain't no voting outside the precinct for nobody. Ain't supposed to be. Legal. Legal. You ain't supposed to go outside the precinct. Y'all know that?
How you doing?
You do know that? That you can't vote outside your precinct?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
What do you mean by that, Ernie?
You can't go to Chicago and vote.
So what
Wow.
you're saying is that even Donald
That's
Trump.
why John King votes out of, what, Fort Lauderdale or Miami, he doesn't vote out of Cleveland.
Well, he made that his home.
Right,
That's where
right,
he's registered to vote, in that precinct.
right.
But Donald Trump, as president, has to go back to his registered precinct to vote.
In
He
Florida.
can't vote here.
You can't vote in Washington.
You can't vote in Baltimore, Chicago.
he
Or
cannot.
New York, whichever one.
But now knowing Donald, he's gonna change the rules. He's gonna tell you vote anywhere you want to vote.
Right, right.
You know? You know, and why do they let him do what he's doing? You know why? Because they're afraid. I've never seen as afraid as the Republicans are. Outside the United States before anybody. How can you have half of Congress scared of one man? They don't know God. They don't know God.
That's right.
Because if you know God, you wouldn't be afraid of nobody.
That's right.
And so they are ungodly, scared little sisters, running from a sister. And he and they don't know government. Half of the councilmen you got downtown, they don't know government. They don't know. I'm telling you, I see what they do. See, in government, you got a politician and a statesman. Y'all know the difference? A statesman go by the rules and regulations that have been installed for his performance. A politician, he's like a lizard. When he's on some green, he's green. When he's on some red, he's red. He tell a lie, any kind of lie to get him, if he think to get him ahead. That's a politician. But a statesman won't do that. And we done had a few statesmen. I tell you who was a statesman. He was a Republican. What's his name? Ran against Obama?
Mitt Romney.
No, the other one. McCain.
John McCain.
He was a statesman. When it comes to the interests of the people, he wasn't equivocal. The woman come up to him and said, "You know, Obama, he's a Muslim, and he McCain said, no, he's not. That ain't true. The man's a good Christian. He's a good friend. That ain't true. See, statesmen tell the truth about the issue. They're a politician, go along to get along. And that's what they do downtown. They go along to get along. And when they had the opportunity to do something for blacks, they did not do it. Anybody know that Black Monument over there on going Liberty Boulevard or Martin Luther King Drive? You know, there's a monument for black folks over there. Do you know for years it went? All them black politicians we had downtown, none of them put no money to develop that. But they was giving money to the Lithuanians, to the Estonians, to the Russians, to all of them, but they never developed their own, just like Lou Stokes. Lou Stokes would get the Jews, the Harlem Society, $10 million every year, but it didn't give nothing to his own organization. Didn't give nothing. Now we look back, it's shameful. It's very shameful. I'm gonna end. But you know what? You follow a well-fed dog will always lead you back to his master. He'll lead you back to his master because that's how you've been fed. And our politicians are well-fed. With that dog money they got down there, keep getting them in office over and over again. And until the people become awake, Their scheme gonna continue to work. But when the people come to work, you know, their scheme ain't gonna work. You know that old saying, when stuff start to smell, everybody can tell. And when stuff starts stinking, everybody starts thinking. And that's what's happening with downtown. Because if stuff does start to smell, we know who's out there, and they're on the side of our oppressors. And they talk our oppressors' language. Listen to what if you listen to a politician, he ain't never accurate in his language. He's just about. He's almost. Maybe one day. It might happen. But he ain't never correct on nothing. He talks circles. Because if you don't stand for them, you fall for anything. And they do it. And that's my workshop on that. Anybody got any questions?
No. Very good.
Yeah, you said that Bustos didn't put any money towards his own organization, is that?
No.
Okay, but if it's the same as, like, say, being a mayor, is it can benefit from
Go ahead, I agree.
from any monies once you become a politician for your own family or your own yourself.
No.
The rules are a bit different for the council.
No, ain't no rules, no. Same rules for the council.